Heidi, Heidi ho there. I'm Hans of the Southern Isles, and we're talking everything Disney. We're about to talk about the greatest Disney film franchise ever. No, I'm not talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, or National Treasure, The Santa Claus, The Chronicles of Narnia, Star Wars, or even the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Nope, we're talking about...
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it.
The Mighty Ducks.
Hold on.
Now you might be saying...
Hold up. Wait a minute.
The Mighty Ducks? No, it can't be the greatest film franchise ever. But it is. So back in 1992, Disney released The Mighty Ducks, the first of 3 films in the franchise. It's a classic story of, wrong side of the tracks, making something of nothing, proving to people who doubted you that you are somebody. So this film revolves around 2 characters. There's a story about Gordon Bombay, Coach Bombay, former hockey player, hurt himself, became a lawyer, got into some trouble with the law, and now his punishment is to coach this ragtag Pee-wee hockey team. And then the other character that the story sort of is around is Charlie Conway. So these films kind of defined my childhood, if I say so. I started playing hockey because of these movies. I wanted to be a goalie because of Goldberg. The moral conscience of the first film and the second... Well, not the second film. The first film, his name is Hans. End of story. He had my name, and that was pretty cool. This movie was so successful that Disney started an NHL franchise called The Mighty Ducks in Anaheim, California. What? There's no Pirates of the Caribbean football team? They don't exist. Single-handedly, that's got to put this film way above all the others. So, The Mighty Ducks comes out. I think it invigorates all of us. We get hockey fever. And then D2 comes out. D2, The Mighty Ducks. Frankly, might be better than the first one. What? It's kind of sacrilege to say that, because most people will never say that a sequel is better than the original. It had probably the single greatest ensemble cast. And I'm not talking about star names. I'm just talking about characters that people have created to kind of coincide with each other. I think if you ask any kid who grew up in the 90s and watched The Mighty Ducks, they're going to remember, of the original core kids, they're going to remember Averman. They might remember Guy Germain. What? Oh, right, that one guy that's like in every movie, but really doesn't serve a lot of purpose. You probably remember Banks. You might remember Jesse Hall because of Cake Eater and things like that. But a lot of that cast from the first movie doesn't turn over into the second movie. And in the second movie... Oh, and you'll remember Fulton Reed. And in the second movie, you add all these other characters like Julie the Cat, who's in competition with Goldberg, and it's just clear that she's the better hockey player, but for whatever reason, Goldberg is the starting goalie. What? Luis Mendoza from Miami, who's like super speed skater, who can't do anything else but skate really fast and like run into walls. What? And then you have Dean Portman. I thought was pretty awesome being from Chicago, and him being from Chicago, and him just being like this super rough, tough kind of bad mamma jamma. And then he partners up with Fulton Reed and becomes the Bash Brothers. And that's why I think that D2 is probably maybe not necessarily the better movie, but it's the more memorable movie because you remember the Bash Brothers, Knuckle Puck. Maybe the first movie is a better piece of cinematic artistry and story. You remember more of what happens in the second one. And the third one is kind of a throwaway. You could, not to say that it's a bad movie, because again, that has some great scenes too. I think probably the greatest montage of pranking that we probably had seen since, say, Home Alone. I mean, freezing their clothes and the ants and all the all the crazy stuff that was going on, the back and forth, the taking them out to the fancy dinner and then making them pay the bill and then they have to do all the dishes. Like, that was really exciting, really fun. But again, like, it was a rehash of good guys versus bad guys. So in D2, the Mighty Ducks become like the USA team. These arch rivals, Iceland. They're like super aggressive. They kind of cheat. They throw their bodies a lot. They like, they're out to hurt you. It's this back and forth. Very similar to the Ducks versus the Hawks in the first movie. So the same premise kind of, it's like we just have to change what the team is as we go along. So in the third movie, it becomes like the varsity team against them. Ducks think they're the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, right? They think they're awesome because we won a gold medal. We beat Iceland. We're the Ducks. We have a professional hockey team named after us. They go back and forth with that. So I think the third one is definitely the weakest one, but it's still a really fun movie to watch. You can definitely sit down and watch it right now and you wouldn't be disappointed with it. Yeah, can we talk about this for a second? My one criticism to the movie is they bring this like inner city urban element into it, and this is where we get the knuckle puck and everything like that. But are there really kids in the inner city of Los Angeles playing street hockey? I think it's always really funny when you see the Trinidad and Tobago team. I guess some people in the studio really loved Caribbean culture and wanted to integrate it into almost everything. So they said, if Jamaica can have a bobsled team in the Winter Olympics, why can't Trinidad and Tobago have a hockey team in the Pan Am Games, right? I would totally suggest to watch them. They still stand up. They're still super entertaining. It will just convince you as to everything that I've been saying so far. Can I just say, like, maybe Gordon Bombay for president? And I think Averman should be his running partner. I think having Averman as the vice president and Gordon Bombay as our president, I think we could win. What we're fighting, I don't know, but we could win. I think so, yeah. Remember, if you like what you're seeing, please comment, like, subscribe. Hit that little button thing, the bell thing, and make sure you get notifications of when all the new videos come out. Remember, it makes my heart happy. It makes my fat little heart happy. So, do it.